Hey you guys. So I decided to also record a surface area video of me working the surface area problems. So I added another problem to it. I am not going to give necessarily the answers, but if you work them with me on a piece of paper, that's what you should do. Then, just like we're in class, then it'll help you. Okay. So let's do that. I think that'll maybe help a little bit more. I'm going to try it this way. Remember, I'm getting used to this is a new video program too, so be patient. All right, so let's look at surface area. Surface area is different than volume. When we talked about volume, that was how much it took to fill up a box, how much stuffing, rice, cereal, whatever you're putting inside of something, how much it takes to fill it up. But today, we're going to be, this video, looking at surface area. And surface area is area. It just means of the whole surface, of all the shapes that make up that shape, you're going to get the surface of all those flat sides. Okay, that's it. And that's going to tell you the surface area. All right. So we have to know you either draw a picture of what the shape would look like flat or you write them down. Okay. So that's what we're going to look at today. All right. It says here, remember, you can draw a net, the figure opened up, and label the side lengths. Surface area means the area of all the sides or surfaces of a 3D shape. Okay. And we're not having a Zoom meeting. I'm going to change that before I post it. All right. So here we go. First question. And this was the one that was on there before. All right. Find the surface area of the triangular prism below and enter the number value only of the surface area in centimeters squared. Okay. We are going to enter the number, no units, guys. I know I put units on some of the answers because some of you don't listen to directions, but I can't. There's so many different ways to write them until we learn how to do it all the same way in Google Forms. Probably be an extra thing. And that way we can all have Equato, which I have on mine. So let's look at how to do this. Okay. So first I need to say what shapes make up this box. I have two triangles, the first and the second. Okay. And they're equal because they're bases and they're across from each other. Bases are going to be equal in prisms or boxes. All right. I have a front rectangle. See this one right here. All right. I have a back rectangle over here. And I have a bottom rectangle, but it's sitting on its side instead of its base, okay? So on a piece of paper, I wrote down two triangles, one front rectangle, one back rectangle, and one bottom rectangle. Or you could draw the shape, okay? With three rectangles and a triangle on each end of the middle rectangle. All right. So looking at the triangle, I need to get the area of the triangles. Since there's two triangles, we don't have to do 1/2 base times height. We can just do base times height because two triangles make up a rectangle. All right. Now notice, you see your 90 and I'm missing something. Oh no, there's nothing there. Guys, look across. Remember, just like angles, it's going to be equal in rectangles. Sides across from each other are always equal. So if this side of this triangle is 6 centimeters, then this side is 6 centimeters as well. There's my 90. That means 4 times 6. Okay? 6. All right. So 4 times 6 is 24. So both of these triangles' area is 24 centimeters squared. Now, if I wanted just the one, then yes, I do half of it. That's volume or area of just one. But we have two. So the area of each one is 12 centimeters times 2, 24. So see, there's no reason to divide or to take half because we had two triangles. All right. So we write that number down next to two triangles, 24 centimeters squared. All right, now I'm going to go to my front rectangle. Here it is, front. I look for a 90-degree angle that has two numbers on it. There you go. There you go. Right there. 5 times 10. Okay, so that's easy. This front rectangle is 50 centimeters squared for its area. So I'm going to write that down. Then I'm going to go to the back side. Always do the two sides first before you do the bottom. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to go to the back side, and I see a 5, and that's all I see. But remember, if this is 10, then this back line is 10. because that's a rectangle and the sides across from each other are always equal. So 5 times 10 is 50. Oh, it's the same. And see, they're both 5s there. So I knew they were going to be the same. But I wanted to show you. So that means I can just take my 50 and multiply it by 2. So the area of the front and the back together is 100 centimeters squared. So you have the front rectangle, 50 centimeters, the back rectangle, 50 centimeters. Wrote them down. Or you can multiply it by 2 and get 100 centimeters and circle that. All right, we have one rectangle left, the bottom. Find a 90. 90. Even though it doesn't look 90, it is, because it's a box. They just draw it that way and it looks weird. All right, so we have a side that's 10 and a side that's 6. 99% of the time, the bottom rectangle is going to be different. So don't think that it's going to be that easy, okay? All right, so 6 times 10 is 60. So the area of the bottom is 60 centimeters squared. So now I wrote those down. Next to the bottom rectangle, I wrote 60. Look, I even did the math. And it's hard to do everything. It's going to be backwards, so you wouldn't be able to see it. So I have that written down. I have all those numbers written down. Now all you have to do is add them together. 24 plus 100 for the two, front and back. Or it could be plus 50, whichever. I just shortened it to 100. So 24 for the two triangles, 100 centimeters squared for the two front and back rectangles, plus 60 for the bottom rectangle. Altogether gives you your answer. And no, I'm not adding that up for you. And you enter the number only. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, we have another to do. It says, find the surface area of the prism below. Enter the number only, not the units, people, in meters squared, because I told you what the units are, meters squared, or meters to the second power. Okay, so I'm looking at my triangle. This is a triangular prism. How do we know? Remember, we look at a box. Do we see a side that is not a triangle or not a rectangle? Anything that's not a rectangle, that's the base, and that's what we name it. So this is a triangular prism. And even though you can't see it, there's a triangle in front and the same size triangle in the back. They're not going to make those pretty little dots for you on every question, people. That's why they get a little harder. So again, you could draw this out. And if you were drawing it, you would draw 3 rectangles side by side and a triangle at the end of, the middle of the middle rectangle. Okay. Look at my notes. You can see them drawn. All right. I, on the other hand, am going to write down 2 triangles, 1 front rectangle, 1 back rectangle, and 1 bottom rectangle that I know is there. I'm going to write that down. Now I'm going to find my numbers and do my multiplication. So a triangle, the area of a triangle is normally 1/2 base times height, but we have 2 triangles. That makes a rectangle. So we can just do base times height. So I find my 90 on my triangle. There it is. 15 times 16. And I do that math. Ta-da! And I get 240 meters squared. I write it down next to the 2 triangles. Then front rectangle. Next to front rectangle, I write down 11 times 17. See the 90? 11 times 17. Okay. So I do 11 times 17 and I get 187 meters squared to cover just that one rectangle in the front. All right. The back rectangle, oh, it's got a 17 too. And see, there's your 11. If you have 11 there, then there's an 11 on that side that you can't see. So that means it's 17 times 11 again, which is another 187. So you could either go ahead and multiply that by 2 right now or add them all up at the end. It is, again, up to you. All right. And I have one more rectangle left to do, the bottom rectangle. So I find a 90. Remember the bottom? It's sitting on it. Here it is. There's your 90. I know it doesn't look like a 90, but I promise you it is. 16 times 11. So I do that math. Get 176 meters squared. And I write that down next to bottom triangle. Now all you have to do is add all those numbers up. 240 plus 187 plus 187 plus 176, or 240 plus 374 if you multiply by 2 plus 176. Not giving you that answer though. Then you enter it and submit. I'm hoping that this helped you do a little bit better on surface area. And I want to remind you again, guys, you got to do the work because we are going to be given a grade and you need all this stuff for 8th grade. So, I want to help you do well in 8th grade and well on the 8th grade leap, send you on into high school. Take care and I'll talk to you soon.